We started our show by telling you a little bit about the continuing issue of cybercrimes. In 2024, it impacted millions of us, people across the nation being affected by it. A phone call that you're getting, you pick it up. Well, firstly, should you be picking it up? It's a number you don't identify. That and more is what we're going to be taking a look at here on the show. This is our year-end wrap-up of our Scam Alert segment. And we're going to be taking a closer look at the scale of digital crimes that plague the country and continuing efforts to combat them. Let's take a look. Let's zoom into one particular area in India. This is Cyberabad. It's one of India's most tech-driven regions. So we thought it would be an interesting case study to look at. It witnessed a staggering 64% rise in crime this year, with cyber fraud taking center stage. Sample this set of numbers, and these numbers are specific to this region. Last year, you had 6.2 crore losses. This year, 80 crore digital arrest scam losses. So there's an increase there of 882%, actually making it the most exploited scam in the region. Hyderabad also saw 11,900 cybercrime cases this year. That accounts for 23% of all crimes in the region. Imagine that, one in every almost 4 crimes is of this kind. Citizens losing 793 crores to fraudsters, with job scams, trading frauds and SMS phishing being the most prominent. And this is in a tech-driven region, so a region where citizens do actually have knowledge.
So, just because it's happening in Cyberabad doesn't mean that the entire nation is not going through it, right? The entire nation, in fact, the world has been in the grip of these cyber frauds. And India all over reported losses of 11,333 crore in just 9 months. That's a staggering amount of money that has been given away to frauds. Stock trading scams, investment fraud accounted for the largest share, followed by digital arrest fraud, which forced the government to actually take note, emphasizing that there is a need for awareness and highlighting that no government agency would ever contact individuals or investigations would be done with the name or a phone call or a video call, where you often have heard of or seen police officers dressed in their uniform asking you for details. That doesn't happen, so don't fall for it. We've told you that time and again. Now, in collaboration with the Telecom Ministry, about 17,000 WhatsApp accounts linked to cyber criminals were blocked this year. 4.5 lakh mule accounts were frozen to curb fraudulent activities as well. But these are numbers despite these blocks. This year also saw new challenges arise for investigators: anonymity provided by digital wallets, lack of KYC protocols, all of that increasing foreign origin fraud. Because remember, we said it's happening in Cyberabad the most. Doesn't mean the fraudsters actually settle there. They are spread all across the world actually, some sitting all the way away in Thailand as well. Now, despite this, authorities have managed to recover about 49.64 crore for victims and about even frozen funds worth of 71.28 crore, offering a glimmer of hope. But that's what it is. A lot of this money never comes back and sort of distorts families forever.
Okay, let's take a look at more numbers as we essentially say that prevention is as crucial as enforcement. And for anyone worried about falling prey to scams, remember the thing we try to bring up with you again and again, the lesson we try to take home with you is that all the solutions are in your hands. So what can you do as a citizen to stay safe? Number 1, report cybercrimes promptly. So use the National Cybercrime Reporting Portal. You can even call 1930 to report any kind of fraud. Early reporting always leads to faster recovery of any kind of stolen funds. Number 2, guard against spam and fraudulent communications. So Try has an SMS header information tool. It can help you identify legitimate sources of any kind of message that you're getting. So if you're getting a message, even if you can't tell who it's from, use this. Know your connections. Block any unnecessary phone calls that are coming, for example, from Kyrgyzstan, a country you've never, spoken to anyone from. Block it. Don't pick it up. There's also the TAFCOP portal. That's TAFCOP, the portal of it created by the government. It's set up by the government. use it to make similar complaints. Now, the other thing you can do, if unauthorized banking transactions are taking place, report fraudulent transactions. Yes, it's a process, but do it. Call up your bank immediately, escalate any unresolved issues to the RBI Ombudsman if necessary. And number 4, any unsolicited commercial communications, do file complaints on the Sanchar Sathi portal to report any kind of unwanted calls and messages.
So any lost or stolen device, track the status of the lost mobile through, there are several portals. If you are using any of the updated phones these days, they already give you how to track your phone. That's always there. You can empower women as well. Platforms like the National Commission for Women offer solutions for victims of online harassment. But if it's feeling like there are too many portals to actually call, remember the first port of call that should actually go in case of any financial fraud is to your bank. Ask them to freeze your account to ensure that the transaction actually does not, take place and is not then transferred further. Cybercrime is evolving. Staying ahead of these requires vigilant activities, requires awareness, requires us to all, and including the government agencies, to be very, very proactive to use the available resources. Let's also ensure now that in 2024, like I said, we don't carry this with us. We carry awareness with us and ensure that we don't fall prey and don't become just one of the numbers in this statistic. But talking about that, let's bring back our guests who've been giving us awareness through these cyber frauds throughout the year as well. Khushbu Jain, cyber law expert and Supreme Court lawyer, is back with us on the program. Hi, good morning. Also with us is Dr. Muktesh Chandar, IPS officer retired there, special monitor for the cybercrime and AI NHRC Evening Fellowship as well. Thank you both for joining us. I have to start by asking you, Khushbu, throughout the year, we've just done a roundup of sorts of different kinds of ways in which frauds have occurred in the country, different ways in which one can report as well. Really not enough emphasis can be put on it just yet. But as the year comes to a close in 2024, we did see a new law come into place. Are you saying that today India is capable, in better capacity to deal with cyber frauds than we were earlier? And if yes, how do you compare that to escalating numbers where there is a new law but the numbers clearly are still going up?
Okay, both are little separate thing. Yes, the 2024 law which you're talking about does deal with organized crimes and cyber related aspect, and in a way cover those areas, and it will help law enforcement agencies who earlier were in a little difficult positions when it comes to arresting people with respect to cybercrime or with respect to the entire new age crimes that were being coming in. So yes, the new 3 laws do help in that manner. Apart from that, the 2023 DPDP Act, the Digital Personal Data Protection Act, also helps out in a manner, not to the police, but to all of us, because at last all these crimes happen because any of these criminals having data are the one who can commit a crime. Like for example, Sonal, you were talking about digital arrest. If you get a call and I say that this is your bank account number, Sonal, and this is the transaction details. So I am aware that this is your bank account number, right? For you to make me believe me. So that's where I think information played a very important role, and DPDP Act will make sure that any of the data fiduciaries, the companies who take our data, have to keep that data secure, delete the data whenever we request, or so on and so forth, to bring in that sanity over there. Because at last, data are stolen from these places who take our data, and we are not even aware that our data is being stolen, and these criminals make use of it. So those are 2 separate things. Now the third one which you're talking about, that the numbers are increasing despite the new laws coming in place. How this is a mismatch. See, the cyber crimes are increasing. This is a new crime that we are seeing. 20 years back, none of us spoke about cyber crime the way we are speaking right now. So criminals understood that use of cyber or internet is much better to commit a crime than physically going and doing bulgari and all such sort of things. So that's where I think more and more people are coming in. It's been said that there are industries that are coming up. It's coming up as a profession. I'm sorry to say that people want to be part of the cyber crime and grow that. So if when you call something like that, I think from pandemic to today, the way it has evolved and the kind of crimes that are happening on cyber in internet world are unimaginable than what would see in 2020 or before that. So I think that's the difference. because people have come digital. You and me have started adopting technology, right from ease of doing business, right from banking to education to literally everything and anything around us. And that's why criminals also have adopted technology to commit crime, and that's why we are seeing the number of rise. Every day they come up with new modus operandi. If you'll see, Telco has issued in December that the Ministry of Communication has issued in December new circulars saying that do not fall away the international number,
yeah.
which is calling you and posing it from either Department of Telecommunication or TRI or coming from any of the law enforcement agencies. Do not take it, and all telcos, all the service providers, telecom service providers like Idea, Vodafone or Airtel have to bring it up international call. So every day the government is also trying to cope up with the new modus operandi or new ideas these criminals come up with. And it's not just India. If you'll see, UN has come up with a new treaty, which is United Nations Convention Against Cybercrime, and it has been adopted by UN General Assembly, which is a significant milestone in fighting cybercrimes or the threats, and that's at the international level. So you have to see local, national, and then international level, and it has to be collaboration because criminals are literally borderless. The only reason we don't find them, I think, Muktesh ji will understand from us. Madhya Pradesh money has been stolen. The money transfers to Maharashtra to somewhere else. Now this has been taken care by government by saying that okay, 1930 is the portal by MHA where all the banks are being now at the one place. So when you report, call at 1930, the bank till 7 layer, they freeze the money which is of yours roaming around. But they take from national, now it's from Maharashtra, it has gone to Cambodia, from Cambodia it has gone to Vietnam, or so on and so forth. So it's literally at a global level, and I think that's where UN convention is also talking about.
Yeah.
Let's take the next question then to Muktesh Chandraji. Mukteshji, can you just tell our audiences, right since the early 2000s, since internet crimes of any kind became a reality, it has felt, unfortunately, like to some degree law enforcement officials are playing catch up. I just want to ask you, with the new set of laws that we just discussed, do you think that distance might be bridged, or do you think there's a long way to go still?
As a law enforcement officer, having spent a lot of time in this cybercrime investigation, I can say that from the very beginning, the police were aware that technology is coming up and they have to keep pace with it. And it has been done in terms of capacity building, in terms of acquiring tools and technologies, sending people abroad to get trained and all that. So I would say that, of course, it is still not sufficient, and newer methods are coming up. But that is not the only problem in the entire ecosystem. See, the cyber world is there are so many players, so many stakeholders, and everybody has to pitch in in preventing it. The two problems which I have been highlighting from the very beginning in several shows, I have told that mentioned about that there are two tools which are needed to commit a cyber crime. Important, like in a robbery, you need a knife or a revolver or something like that. In cyber, you need one SIM card and the with internet connection, and the other you need a bank account. Problem is that today anonymous or these bank accounts can be taken on hire, SIM cards can be taken on hire, and the traceability using KYC is almost negligible. You cannot reach the person using the photograph or the forms which is filled at the time of taking the connection. Of course, Telecom Regulatory Authority has done a lot to block these, but these are available in thousands. These are available in thousands because of the entire ecosystem. The telecom companies are just not bothered about uh, adhering to the norms. And as a result, bulk SIM cards are available, which are used. The number two is current accounts opened in the name of companies. You rent a place, you open a company, and the money gets deposited in crores, and you disappear after that. So the other one is the bank account. As was mentioned, that even we have seen layer 10, the money, as soon as the money is received in a current account, it is distributed into L2, L3, L4, and after 10 transactions, it is almost impossible. So if we are able to cut these two tools, availability of these two tools, then I'm sure a large number of cyber crimes can be prevented. In this, there is a role of bank authorities, there is a role of telecom authorities, and if they don't adhere, severe penalties must be imposed on the two, including criminal liability. They must be arrested. If, some of these lower chaps I've seen in Goa that telecom people were involved. These agents who are giving SIM cards. Another important thing which everybody must know, how many SIM cards are running in his name. You did mention about that, about TAFCOP. So go and visit this website and find out. You may own one mobile, but there may be another 9 in your name which has been issued by the SIM card dealer. So those are being used by these fraudsters. And the another factor is, you're right, that crime happens at one place, the money is withdrawn at several other places. These are all distributed. So therefore, the coordination between the state police of various states is also very important. If a SIM card is operating and a bank account is operating at a particular place, it is the duty of that local police also, even though they may not have a victim in their jurisdiction. So they must own up that why this SIM card address, whether it is verified or not, or whether this bank account is verified or not. As soon as one information is received about this fraudulent transaction, the local police must start catching these people and inform others that we have taken into custody this bank account holder. You can come and investigate.
Right.
It is
very important points there, Mukteshji. Everything that you've raised is very, very crucial, especially those on two legs and two pillars. If we can sort of tap into it, the availability of SIM cards, how they are being made, because we've all seen documentaries, I'm sure, where every SIM card, one SIM card is used for one phone call. So if I get 10 calls in a day, there are 10 different SIM cards and so many people getting impacted by it. So that's the availability that first needs a crackdown. But let's move to law implementation aspect of it. And Khushbu, that's where you come in, right? We've spoken about how buyer beware. We've spoken about empowering people with the knowledge. And we've spoken about where all can we all stay a little vigilant. But when it comes to implementation and blocking and reaching out to your lawyer, to your bank, etc. for it, what else can be done? I'm always sort of scratching my head about that. If the money is once gone, are we at that point where we should say that, okay, you should just say goodbye to it and there is just no way of getting it back?
No, I think you started with it. The moment money is gone, when it comes to cybercrime, 1930 is the number that you should call immediately without calling anybody right away. And when you call 1930, two things to remember. Keep all your banking transactions which you appear to be fraudulent, either done by you or third party or hacked or done by either digital arrest or kind of cheated around or fraud. In all these scenarios, the moment money is involved is where 1930, keep all these things ready, because when you call at 1930, they will ask you these details as to when and which account number, from which account number to which account number, what's the amount. So keep that ready. And at the same time, simultaneously open cybercrime.gov.in and put a complaint. The complaint should not be more than 1 or 2 paragraphs. It can just have details of what exactly happened, from which date, which was the portal or platform from where you were contacted, and then what transpired. And whenever you narrate that story in 2 paragraphs, each story, if whatever corroborating evidence you have it, like for example, you got a call, screenshot of the call, like for example, you have transferred the money, screenshot of the message where the money is transferred, or they have given that these are the bank accounts you have to transfer. So screenshot of that, or if you can, make a PDF of the entire
get evidence in one place. You're saying.
Yeah, and put it across that very clearly. These things to remember: 1930 cybercrime.gov.in. The another thing you should do is, see, when you open a bank account or let's say Paytm or Google Pay or any other payment gateway, have that one number. It's mandated by RBI for them to have one 24/7 available toll-free number. Keep that number and make it, save that number in your phone. So next time, whenever you have to make a call to XYZ bank, where your money is gone, you're not Googling that number, because there is a high likelihood that criminals, even on the top, do that advertisement and the top number might still reach them, not the bank. So, and last minute, every minute is very important. So have that number already saved with you, because you might not have more than one payment or two payment gateway and two banks or three banks for that matter. So 5 numbers and emails are the one which you can store right away in your phone book, so that in the event of anything like that, make a call to them. Now, when you make a call, they will give you one grievance complaint number. That complaint number is very important for you. Let's say when you make a complaint to any of these platforms, any of these banks or payment gateways, you don't get a response in a month, is where you can contact RBI and appeal. These are RBI guidelines. In case, let's say they go ahead and 3 months, they say that no, it's your fault because you shared OTP, or you fell prey to the kind of crime, and you yourself transferred the money, right? In those scenarios, bank might deny giving you the money back. In that scenario, if you're not happy, that's where you can again appeal to RBI Ombudsman. I have already provided, I think you've already given in your initial time the link to it. You can complain over there to RBI, and RBI will look into it, calling the bank and all the evidences into it. And if they require, they will call you. Otherwise, they will solve. So I think when it comes to money, these are the 3 important things that you have to keep in mind. Apart from that, Chakshu of, the portal which you were talking about, other places where you can still port. Let's say I'm not losing, my money is not lost. I got a call, but I realized on time. But still make sure that phone number is something you complain on these portals, so that that repository can help in blocking those accounts and the IDs associated along with it. Absolutely agree with Muktesh ji that 2 important things which need to be solved right away are these 2. And I think they're doing it. See, one amazing thing, Sonal, and that when you take a loan, and if you default, none of the other bank account will give you the loan, because you have something called a CIBIL score. Now, if I take a bank account today and that bank account is associated with some, fraudulent transactions, and freezing is done, you don't do that. I can go to another bank and open another bank account. So why can't you have that centralized, which Ministry of Home is already talking about? But I think all the banks have to come together for that, or it has to come as a mandate from RBI, so that at least people will have limited, documents.
So
when
a lot
it
of
comes to
stakeholders actually have to work together to make it happen, because that's just the nature of the cyber world. Everybody's connected on the web. That also means distribution happens very quickly and frauds happen very quickly. And that's where we need to get a little more stringent about it. Thank you, Khushbu. Thank you, Dr. Muktesh, for joining us with your views on this. There are also insurances actually that are doing now the rounds of how you can actually insure your money, even if you're using a payment gateway. That's perhaps, discussion for another day, perhaps.
But this is a story we're going to continue to look at into 2025. The different ways you can protect yourselves. We hope, obviously, the numbers fall. We don't see that kind of huge increase. Remember that increase we talked about was 800%. We hope we don't see that going into the new year. Take care of yourselves. Take care of your family too. Right now, we're going to head into a quick break.